Every great trailer cue, whether it's for Marvel, Netflix, or a video game reveal, has one thing in common: structure. Today, I'll break down the most common trailer music structure from start to finish. And I'll show you inside Cubase how to shape your cue so it sounds just like the pros. Trailer editors need your music to sound like a story, not a random collection of sounds. Structure gives predictability. Editors know when the next section will land. Structure gives flexibility. Editors can cut a 15-second ad, a 60-second teaser, or they can use the whole 2 to 3 minute song. And structure gives impact. Without it, your cue fizzles. And honestly, the truth is, the difference between a good track and a syncable track is often just the structure. Now, trailer cues often follow the same big picture arc. Act 1, the intro. Think atmosphere, mystery, and intrigue. Act 2, the build. Think momentum, rhythm, and escalation. And Act 3, the climax. Think spectacle, full power, and a large epic ending. Think of it like a movie. Setup, escalation, and payoff. Now let's zoom in. Act 1 is all about atmosphere. You're building curiosity without giving away your climax. Now in Act 1, you've generally got pads or drones. Sometimes both. Sometimes you do have percussion hits, but as you can see in Act 3 later on where there's a lot, in Act 1 there's normally not a lot. Every 2, every 4 bars, just a few hits. You might have a small motif fragment or a little vocal line. And you might have some sound effects, like rises, or some whooshes. Now editors usually drop dialogue here. Your job is to create mood while leaving space for dialogue and sound effects. Think fog, not fireworks. And holding back at the start makes our end parts sound even bigger. Now Act 2 is the heartbeat of your cue. It's where you start to build momentum step by step. You can try using the same parts that you used in Act 1 in Act 2, but we're going to build upon those. So as we can hear in this, the percussion is a bit more active, whereas in Act 1, it was every 4 bars with a bit more at the end. This time it's a bit more constant. And we've also added in some extra little stick hits, including some mid drums and some Chinese cymbals. Similar sound design as before. We've also got a melody line now on the brass and the vocals. This is also on the synth. And we've also got this string spiccato line. But we've taken it not just on the strings, we've also added it on this little pluck guitar patch and the synth patch. And the synths combined with the strings playing the same spiccato patches just gives that a bit more of a modern hybrid sound. And we've added in a bit of subtle harmonic movement with these lines here that are just playing the root note of the chord to the fifth. So this is going A, E, and so on. And then when the chord changes move, it's coming up and it's going B, F sharp, B, F sharp. And then for the final change, D, A, D. And that sounds like this. Now, Act 2 is often where editors cut montages or action sequences to. And by adding in new parts every 4 to 8 bars and introducing those extra rhythmic layers, we just keep that momentum going. And that's exactly what we want. Think escalation without hitting the peak just yet. Now, Act 3 is the payoff, the climax. This is where you show the full power of your music. Here we've got the full brass stack, trombones, French horns, and trumpets. We've got the full string stack with multiple different libraries of each instrument playing the same notes. We've got choir sustains. We've got loads of percussion, and even the trail hits, as you can see in Act 1, they're only playing every 4 bars. Similarly in Act 2, just there's these couple of extra hits at the middle. But in Act 3, there's a lot more going on, especially at the end. And not only do we have the basses from before, we've also got guitars doing the same notes and big fat Brahm patches too. You want to be unleashing a wall of musical force. Now, trailers are selling spectacle. A weak Act 3 kills your placement. But don't just play everything. Use contrast. Use silence before big hits, or even use a double climax, similarly to a double chorus, and make the double chorus even bigger than the first climax. That way your cue feels cinematic and not static. And I'll show you a couple of examples that I've done here really quick. The biggest transition here is when we go from our first climax to our even bigger climax. You'll hear all of the music layers drop out, and you can see in the MIDI forms here, I've ended everything right here in bar 58, and then in bar 59 everything hits in again, but in bar 58 it's just the percussion doing these hits with a couple of risers and sound effects. And another example of this is not having your strings and your brass just playing the long notes for several bars at a time, having them drop out at, say, the bar before the next 4-bar cycle. So say having 3 bars of sound and then 1 bar of silence, 3 bars of sound, 1 bar of silence, and then having the percussion come in at the end of that 4-bar cycle. The percussion will hit so much harder because it doesn't have those layers there. So I'll show you what we mean. So let's solo the strings and the brass. And let's add in the percussion and the hits. Now, this bit at the end you don't have to include, but I like including it in all of my trailer music songs. And that's either a stinger, which is just one big doosh, and then the editor can cut that to, movie out 20th of September next year. I generally add at least one, sometimes two of those end stingers, just those final hits to round it off. Purely for an editor point of view, just if the editors need just one hit, they can see that at the end and be like, yep, happy days, just cut, paste the whole thing. Sometimes I'll do an ending like this that ramps up as well, but a really quick one. If you do have an ending like this, don't drag it on too long because, you've done your 3 acts. We just want a quick wrap up, get it out of the way and move on to the next one. One of the things with trailers is you want to say exactly what you want to say, nothing more, nothing less. You want to say as much as you can in the least amount of time. So this song, we have the full 3 acts and we've got this end part and we can still see in the time, we're still under 2.5 minutes, which is awesome. We don't want to go too much longer than that. If we just at the 3 acts, we'll be at 2 minutes. That works as well. But yeah, if we can stay under 2.5 minutes, then we're in a good place. But in this end part, we're just going to ramp up over the course of a few bars to a hit at the end, and then we're going to call it a day. So here's the recap. Trailer music structure isn't just a formula. It's the reason your music gets placed. Act 1, atmosphere. Act 2, momentum. Act 3, spectacle, with a final hit at the end. And make sure between acts, especially between Act 3 and that final hit at the end, you're always fading to silence. You don't want to have any overlapping audio between sections if you can help it, because sometimes what editors will do, if they don't use your whole song, they might use the Act 1 of your song with Act 2 of someone else's song, with Act 3 of someone else's song. So just having these clear sections laid out like this, it increases your chance of your music being placed because it's clearly laid out for the editor. Next time, we'll dive into why almost every movie trailer uses this 3-act model and why writing like a pop song doesn't really cut it.